Real quick, guys, if you guys want to, like, for my normal viewers, you want to skip to the end of the video for a little disclaimer. I'm going to tell you, like, what's going on with the channel and all that stuff. But for people who are here to watch, hey, here's my review for A Quiet Place. So, A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place is directed by John Krasinski and stars him and his real-life wife, Emily Blunt, and a couple of child actors. And let me tell you, like, right off the bat, that this movie is a real treat for horror fans and everyone alike. If anybody is a fan of the original Alien or The Thing, this is something that I would say it's a real creature horror movie. And I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a synopsis of the story right now. So the story so far, when the movie starts, it's day 87 of this event that's happening. These creatures, monsters, aliens, whatever you want to call them, let your imagination run wild, have been hunting down and killing people. And at the very beginning, you kind of see like this board filled with wanted posters. So it kind of gives you the idea that this thing happened gradually. It's not something that happened like day and night. And then there's a bunch of these newspapers where it kind of shows, you know, the events that took place in different parts of the world and everything, and they couldn't stop them. And people never really found out the weakness to these monsters, and these monsters or aliens just kind of took over the world. And this movie follows a family, which is John Krasinski's family, and it follows the family and kind of their struggles on how they're going to survive this type of apocalypse. And what everyone knows, the entire world knows at this point, is that if you make the slightest sound of something falling near you, or you're talking or whatever, these monsters will hunt you down. They could be far away or whatever. You make a slightest sound. At the very beginning of the movie, I like how they emphasize that it through like Emily Blunt, her character, she's looking for pills for one of her sons, and it shows how carefully she had to take this bottle of pills and kind of reach in and grab one pill for her kid, and then she kind of like slowly puts the pills down that way they don't make any sound. It shows you how quiet this movie's going to be. Not only how quiet the movie's going to be, but the type of danger that these characters have gotten themselves into just by exploring this, like, going out into this random town. Now, let me tell you guys, like, real quick, when I walked into the theater and, like, well, you know, there's a lot of people sitting around. We all have our popcorn. We have our drinks and everything. I didn't have any drinks or popcorn because this is one of those movies I saw the trailers and I was thinking, like, if this movie is the way I think it's going to be, I'm not going to be eating anything. And sure enough, as the movies start, everybody who had popcorn or who had candy, sodas, drinks, whatever, nobody drank. I'm going to tell you, nobody drank, nobody ate, nobody moved. I made the bad decision of wearing a leather jacket. I wore a leather jacket to this movie. So when I was moving, like, the movie is so damn quiet through the entire movie that the slightest sound from my leather, I just thought to myself, like, that monster's going to kill me. Like, it's just one of those things that, like, I felt like I was disturbing the audience if I moved. And other people, I could tell there's a couple other guys who wore leather jackets, or people who needed to, like, get up or something. Like, they were about to get up, but the movie is so quiet through the entire movie. You don't move because it's the point of the movie. It really drew the audience in from the very beginning on how quiet this movie is going to be. And this is one of those movies that, let me tell you guys, there's no dialogue. There's no me talking to you like this, except for like maybe a couple of scenes in the movie. And it's not there. You can't talk because in the movie, if you talk, the monster will get you. And the way this family communicates or has survived is through sign language. And a lot of people, like at the very beginning, I was thinking like, well, me specifically, I was thinking like, oh, how did they learn sign language so fast? It's only day 87. John Krasinski's character, well, the family, they have a daughter. She's deaf. So I'm guessing that they learned sign language from her or through her because, you know, they need to communicate with her. And it kind of shows like this kind of relationship that this father and daughter have because, you know, he was working real hard to try to create this hearing aid for her, and through the movie that she could kind of hear and get her hearing back. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that like it shows how much this father really cares for the family. And in the end, that's kind of the moral of the story. The thing that John Krasinski was going for was that he wanted to show the value of family and how far parents will go to protect their children. And the way this family survives, it goes kind of through like maybe a little over a year of the event, and through the entire movie. It shows the struggles that the family goes through. I'd kind of compare it a little bit to the way Joel and Ellie kind of built a relationship. Not that they, they were already family in the beginning in The Last of Us, but the way it transitions is that they'll have one story here and then it'll skip to the next season. In this one, it does three transitions. I didn't really see the transitions, like I didn't see them as like something too big. It didn't bother me much, and I thought they were well placed. It happens three times, but it felt like the movie kept on flowing. You kind of see where this family goes after a couple of months, maybe a little after a year, and it shows here, and it's really well crafted on where this family goes, and you can kind of tell that the family's gone through some stuff through the course of this year. Now, real quick, I want to talk about Emily Blunt's character. Uh, there is a part in the movie, like, well, you guys have already seen it in the trailer. She's pregnant, but at the very beginning of the movie, this is day 87. She's not pregnant at all, and by the end of the movie, this is it's not really a spoiler. She's pregnant, and my thought is like, how do you get pregnant in a time where like this happens? And I guess that's my only gripe with the movie was just that Emily Blunt's character, she gets pregnant, but like, why not have her already pregnant within like, because day 87, that's what, 2 months? She could have already been pregnant by then and then skip ahead like maybe 4 or 5 months, closer to the due date, and have the suspense build from there. Because now, when you have that happen later on after a year, it's just kind of a stupid decision that the characters make. But I guess in the movie, in the world, people do make mistakes, and the slightest mistake in this world will kill you. Real quick on the monsters and like how the design was. I thought that the horror in this movie was really spot on. This is something that I haven't seen horror movies do, like, they haven't really done in a while. And I would compare this movie a lot closely to like the Alien franchise, specifically the first Alien movie. Now, in the first Alien movie, you have the alien where it's not really shown on screen, and when it kills someone, this kill happens off screen, and it's something that you get really like these little subtle like scenes where you kind of see the alien, but you kind of don't. You'll see the arm or like the side of the face of the alien or something, and it's just, you hear the sounds of the alien, and it's just terrifying. I gotta say, I think that's what I like most about this movie, and how it borrows a lot from Alien. And the reason how is when the monsters come out on the screen, or like the very like through the almost the entirety of the movie, you don't really see the monsters. You only see like subtle, like little flashes of the monster, or like the arm or something, the slight part of the face, until the very end. Then you have the monster reveal, and I think that's key, because through this movie there's a couple of times where like the family will come across somebody, or like there's someone else in the world, and the monster, some scenes where the monster kills someone, and it's not shown on screen, but your imagination just runs wild, and that's where the horror comes from, because you hear it, you see it, you kind of see it happen, but you really don't. You know what I mean? Like the monster will lunge at someone or something, and it's just the cries of these people, or whatever, like the animals it kills. You can kind of tell that this monster is a force to be reckoned with, and that it's almost unstoppable on how fast and how much agility this monster has. And when the monster is close to the family, or like it's close to the same room as the family, or it's crawling like right over them or something, you feel this tense that suspicion, or not suspicion, this tense suspense in your body, where like your bones just kind of like grab the seat, and you're just kind of like, whoa, I can feel the monster, like it's right next to me. And through this entire movie, that if the family makes one small sound, the slightest mistake, the monster will hunt them down and kill them. And the movie, as it builds up this tension, you can kind of tell that there are times where the family makes the smallest mistakes, and it gets close to costing them their life. And you can see the extent that the parents go to kind of protect their kids and show the kids how to survive in this world, and how much they care for their children. And I think John Krasinski, he really did a great job in kind of capturing those moments of suspense, those moments of horror. And especially in the trailer, you kind of saw that Emily Blunt, she's going to give birth to that child. Let me tell you, through that entire scene that's happening, there's something that happens. You guys who have seen the movie, there's something that happens while Emily Blunt is pregnant, right when her water breaks, and she has to make it to the bathtub. That scene in particular, where the alien, you could tell that the alien was real close by. That one just, it really got to me because I know how much, you can tell how much pain the woman is in, and you can only imagine like how hard it is just to not scream, or like those times of frustration between the characters, how much they want to yell at each other but they can't. They have to sign language, or you can just tell by their facial expressions that they can't do anything because they will die. It shows how vulnerable this family is, and I can't emphasize this enough, that the horror in this movie is so spot on. And I think the movie, the suspense, the directing, the cinematography, the music that builds up this movie, because of how quiet the the entire movie is, it really builds the world around it, and it shows how much storytelling you can do just through your camera work and the music, the ambiance. Whoever the sound director was, he did a fantastic job of crafting this world and kind of telling a story through the music and through uh, the ambiance, and the director, how he got the world to really shine through the camera lens. And like I said, just basically telling a story with the minimalist of words. Even through sign language, there's not a lot of sign language talking scenes. It's a lot of like kind of just them looking at each other, and you can kind of tell what they're saying through their eyes and through their facial expressions. It's something that I haven't seen like ever in a film. So in conclusion, guys, if you guys are wondering like, should you go see this movie, let me tell you guys straight up, yes, this movie in my book, it's one of the best movies. And through stars, I guess through movies, I'm gonna give it, it's gonna be out of 5 stars. um Let me just tell you, this movie definitely deserves, I think, a full set. Or let me rephrase that, because there was a couple of decisions in the movie I didn't like, but it's really just nitpicking. But you know what? I think this is the perfect horror movie for something that we haven't gotten in a long while, and for somebody who has had no experience in this genre. I believe, I don't think John Krasinski has had experience in the horror genre. He came in and he just flawlessly directed this movie, and I think this movie deserves like a total, like a full 5 stars. Great acting, a great cast choice, great directing, the cinematography. It's all there. It's all there for the movie. If anything I have to complain about, I guess the ending was something that I was a little bothered by, but it wasn't anything. I don't see how it could be ended any other way. You know, it just kind of ends. Kind of I'm going to compare it to The Last of Us. Forgive me, but the way The Last of Us just ends, this one kind of just ends. That's how it is. It's not the emotional ending of The Last of Us, but it is something that you're kind of like, oh man, you know, and then it just ends. But really, 5 stars. I really think that this movie deserves a chance for people to go see it. If you guys have lost your faith in horror movies, you definitely need to go check this out, because I think it can rekindle that faith in horror movies, and hopefully directing for those movies. So it's definitely a real treat, and hopefully this movie is nominated for an Oscar in the future. But anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on A Quiet Place. If you guys have any thoughts, please share in the comment section below. And for you guys who are new to the channel, I don't really do movie reviews, but this is something I want to do on a weekly basis. I go every Friday to the movies, so why not film my thoughts on the movies that I see? So why not? I'll probably do this like every Friday, but it's not going to keep me from my gaming videos. People who have seen my channel, I do regular gaming videos, and I will continue to do regular gaming videos. That's never going to stop, but this is just something to add more to the channel, that I can add more content to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. But anyways, guys, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It really helps me out a lot. And remember, guys, when you guys are gaming, power up.